Hi, I'm here with Dr. Mary, Dexter's holistic veterinarian, helping him with some rehab. And Dr. Mary, would you mind telling our audience just a little bit about what we're doing with Dexter and why we're doing this for him?
Sure. We have been doing some rehabilitation with underwater treadmill, laser, and exercises for Dexter to try to help with some proprioceptive and balance issues that he's had because of his Syringomyelia.
Okay.
So proprioception is knowing where his parts are in space. So he's had a little bit of trouble steering.
Great.
So we've been doing those things to see if we can help make him better.
Well, great.
He also had a muscle pull that we've been trying to make feel better for him too with the laser.
Okay. And would you say, and obviously Dexter hates her.
Oh, yeah,
Dexter hates coming in here. Dexter, come here, buddy. So, as I talk about finding, the right veterinarians for your dogs and taking care of your pets, I'm always talking about making sure that your pets enjoy the visits just as much. And again, as you can see from Dexter's experience, that he really likes coming to see Dr. Mary. Dr. Mary, would you say that there's other dogs with some other conditions that might benefit from the kinds of treatments that he has? Is there a general disease types that might
absolutely. So we see a lot of dogs that have other types of neurologic compromise than what Dexter has. So sore backs or intervertebral disc disease or degenerative conditions. We also can help dogs that have had orthopedic issues, either an injury or a surgery. We would be doing similar things to what we're doing with Dexter. And then a lot of our geriatrics that can't move around quite as well as they used to be able to, the types of things we're doing with Dexter can really help them too.
Oh, great. And so we've been doing this for about a month with him, coming from weekly exercises with Dr. Mary and her staff, and then obviously twice a day exercises with Dexter that we'll be talking about in the blog here shortly. So you're doing a reevaluation today. Is there something specific you're kind of hoping to find from Dexter's?
Well, I'm hoping to find he's more comfortable and that he has better steering.
Okay.
So we want to check his neurologic status, make sure that he's doing at least as well as he was, if not better. We are going to watch him move around a little bit and see how he's walking. And then he had the groin pull or the iliopsoas muscle strain that I want to check and see how that's feeling. And we are going to check him for chiropractic issues today, make sure his spine is staying comfortable.
Okay. And would you say this is something that obviously we're going to be working on at home with him regularly, but how often would you say would it be typical for a client to come see you with this issue? Once a week, for life? I mean, what are people looking at long term if they're dealing with a neurological issue like with Dexter?
With Dexter's type of condition, we probably, unfortunately, won't expect complete recovery. We're hoping to get something that would be more akin to a remission, where we're keeping him comfortable and keeping his disease from getting any worse or more painful or aggravating for him. I don't know that he's always painful, but he gets itchy and twitchy and doesn't get comfortable. So what I hope that we're doing is we're giving you a toolbox of things to do at home to know how to manage him, and that maybe his visits might end up to be once a month or once a quarter for the stuff that makes him comfortable. And then during a flare-up, it might be that we say, well, let's go in and get some laser a little more frequently because he's uncomfortable right now.
Great.
But my hope, despite the fact that I love seeing you guys all the time, it's my hope to give you a toolbox so that you know how to manage him and that you know when you do need me or someone like me to help you.
Well, great. So speaking of someone like you, can you give some tips on how to find people like you, how to find the right veterinarian to help a dog with the rehab?
Sure. To my knowledge, there's two good websites out there where you can find a rehab vet in your area. There's the Canine Rehab Institute, which is caninerehabinstitute.com, and they have a Find a Practitioner page, so you can find someone that attended their courses and is certified in rehab. And then the University of Tennessee has a rehab program also, and I want to say that their website might be UTVetCE, so like University of Tennessee Veterinary Continuing Education, UTVETCE.com, and both of those have a spot where you can find a practitioner. Then if you're looking for a chiropractor or an acupuncturist, there are websites for those various schools that we can go to also that can give you the websites to look up. So I can send you those if
that'd be great. Perfect. Well, great. Well, I appreciate that, and we're just going to watch you do his evaluation. So,
excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So we're checking chiropractic issues right now on Dexter to see if he's got any vertebrae that aren't moving normally. in relation to each other, and then if he does, we'll give him a little adjustment and see if we can get those things moving freely again. His neck's pretty good today.
Yay. Well, he had his laser first.
Ah,
and
true.
his swimming first.
He's all chillaxed now. But here he's got a little area that's a little uncomfortable.
That was
You can
hot
see him
too when
twitching.
I was petting him.
Was
I
it?
felt like that area was
Now
hot.
he did just use this area for all his work and walking in the water treadmill, but good boy. There we go. Nice job, Dexter. All right, gonna feel these groin muscles now, see if they're sore. So I've got my finger up high in his groin and I'm squeezing on one side or the other. You can't tell what I'm doing there, but now he's a little tenderer. Is it? Can we stretch it a little bit? Good boy. I'm gonna keep your eyes front. Look at your mom, she loves you. Good boy. Nice job, Jackson. So I'm just extending his hip and putting pressure on that muscle at the same time. Good boy. Nice job, sweetheart. Very nice. I know. Toe grip's still working okay for you? Good. And he definitely feels these toesies. That is good. He's still got his cracky ankle. Do you hear that at home? Does it crunk? Good boy. I see it. I think you're amazing. Yes, I do. Very nice. Okay, I gotta whack you with the hammer. Okay. Nice job. So that's nice.
And so we want them to move.
We
right?
do.
Yeah.
That segmental response just goes right up to this area of the spinal cord that nerve branches off from and back down. So it's just a local feedback loop. Doesn't go all the way up to his brain and back. And when we stand it back up, that's what the foot flippies are checking. Very, very technical name for that test. Good boy. I know. And we had the girth measurements on his leg when we started. So we're just checking those again. And what I'm doing now is just checking the length of his leg so that I can go halfway up so I can measure it at the same level that I did last time. So I do that every time and then I know I'm checking pretty much the same place every time. I'm sure there's a little bit of room for variation. And then I try to keep my tape parallel to their pelvic bone so I can get the same angle on the tape. And what we're hoping to see is that Mr. Dexter has built a little bit of muscle while we've been working out.
So bigger thighs, huh?
We do. This is the one place where somebody actually wants bigger thighs. And then it was his left side, I believe, that was sore on the hip, the muscle. But I want to check his range of motion on both of these hip joints in relation to each other and see how comfortable he is today, too. Good boy. Very nice. Yay. Oh, he says, I got that.
I got the sexy lingo.
He does. This is GQ pose. Good boy. You're all soggy. All soggy from your time in there. Do you have much trouble with these coming off?
No,
Yeah.
they're pretty good.
Excellent pushing, but we're bending right now. Thank you.
I usually try to check them every night if I can remember, because he has a couple of toenails that are a little thinner than the others.
Yeah.
So I have to keep
Don't want him to slide up either.
Yeah.
Good boy. That seems much more comfortable than last time. That's good. Now it's not time for your party yet.
He looked at me.
Excellent. So those are good as well. Now we'll see if this leg is muscling as well as the other one. Do you think he's gained much weight since?
We're stuck at the 29 pounds.
Okay. Is that?
We always kind of
started?
shoot for 27, but whether or not your scale is the exact same as ours at back home,
But he was 29 on our scale when we started.
yeah.
Just to look at his measurements, if his weight had gone up, then it might not be as accurate of a reflection of any muscle that we've built. Where if his weight is about the same today as it was when we did those measurements, then if he's made some improvement in size, then that really is probably muscle.
Oh, okay. Versus being jumbled.
Correct.
So he's still 29 here.
Okay, so he's weighing the same on our
today,
scale,
but we weighed
but he
a
has
couple
weight.
days ago.
Yeah. So I think he's actually made a little muscle then. Yeah, and pretty uniformly, if I am remembering correctly. So when we started, he was 29.9 on the left and 29 on the right. So that's even better news. So he's 30.4 over here, so he's made 0.5 centimeter of muscle. But he's 30.2 on the other side, which means his two legs have caught up with each other again, because his right leg was about 1 centimeter smaller than his left one.
Wow.
So that is excellent news. That helps us to believe that he's using his body more evenly than he was last time you were in. So we're going to turn his feet, and hopefully he turns it over right away again. Then he knows that it's upside down. That's pretty good. Yay! Knowing that it's upside down is different than knowing that I'm touching it. So, nice. Yay!
Good job, buddy.
I like to check the front ones too. He's like, for goodness sakes, I know where those are. Thank you. Good boy.
So why is it that it's the back end? And is it anything specific that he doesn't know the back end versus the front end, or just
It tells us it's possible that the problem is between the front and the back legs, and that's why it's only affecting that. With what he has, I think he had an MRI in the beginning, and we know that there are some lesions up higher too, but we don't know which one is causing his problem. So they can have a problem in their neck from a pocket from SM or a disc issue or something that affects only the back legs, even though it seems like if it's up here it should affect all four. So it just kind of tells us where the problem is in the spinal cord fibers.
okay?
But it doesn't necessarily have to not be in his neck to have his back legs be the only ones affected.
So like all the fibers affect a different part of their body.
Right.
And
So a lot of times what's happening if they're perfectly aware of where their front feet are and they're not in the back is it's telling us that the problem is somewhere from the neck down. And then when we do these spinal segmental reflexes, if they're normal at both spots, then it tells us, okay, it's probably not exactly where these nerves branch off at the base of their neck, and it's probably not exactly where these nerves branch off, so then we narrow it down to between here and here. And then if he were a centipede and he had a leg for every spinal segment, we could narrow in further than that, but unfortunately without anything to whack with our hammer between there, we run out of ways to evaluate that. So, but I have met dogs who have had an intervertebral disc issue in their neck, and like it only affects their front legs or only affects their back legs. So it's not perfect.
Okay, so the SM dogs, it could be anywhere. It just depends on where the pockets are in there.
Correct, because it's my understanding that they can form the pockets anywhere along their
yep.
spinal cord. The malformation is up here at the base of their neck, and sometimes that's where the pockets are forming, but I think he could have a pocket, say, right here.
Okay.
And then that's why it's causing an issue. And his MRI could look different than it did.
Yeah, I'm sure it does, because when we did the MRI, which was 4 years ago, it was just a thick line throughout, even no
So there wasn't-
no pockets at that time.
So it was just the
Straight,
larger
just
pocket
straight.
of fluid around the spinal cord, but nothing had gotten into the spinal
Right.
cord. Yeah, so he may have a spot that has started now. We don't care as long as it does not bother him.
Yep.
Good boy. Yay, you.
Yay.
That's a good boy. I think he knew where his toes were last time too. But he's bigger around. His range of motion is even on both hips. He's very quiet on that groin muscle that was sore. So that's all really good.
Good.
And chiropractic wise, he's much better than he was too.
So then you're happy with the month?
I am very happy with
Good.
his progress, and I hope that you guys are
Yes.
too. It sounds like he's feeling much better. There will come a point where we do allow you to start some play with him.
Okay.
We just want him to be comfortable and steering well. So let's watch him walk a little bit.